Who am I to tell about my millennial story when it's just like 5 years of working experience? But it's important to let people know like my journey of searching, finding my place in this world, and it's okay to spend time.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kevin. I'm a community builder. I'm a founder of a book club, wine club, and film club. Today, I have the privilege of interviewing Isabel. The reason how we come about this interview for me was my curiosity to get to know the millennials better, what they want in life, what are their aspirations, and well, here we are today. So introduce yourself perhaps to the audience.
Well, hi everyone, I'm Isabel. So I've been always like interviewing my guests on this podcast, and how we come together to do this interview is that one day I asked myself the question that I always ask my guests, and then I realized that hey, it needs deeper thoughts to clarify my thoughts, and I was like, okay, let's get someone to interview me. I think you can come up with very good questions for me to reflect upon my life, my vision, my mission, and then my journey.
Let's begin first about your book, because actually we get to know each other from the book club, and I was introduced to your book, Own Your Story. Could you share with us how did you actually get the inspiration to write this first book?
Alright, the inspiration I would say is like a calling that I need to get my story out. Yeah, the biggest inspiration is the sharpest U-turn in my life. Now at this point looking back, I know I had a depression 2 years ago. When I had a company, everything was stable, company was profitable, I had my boyfriend, my family who love me, support me. And yet at that point, I don't know what's the meaning of life. And then I struggled a lot. I feel a lot of pain. I felt hopeless, helpless, and I didn't know what's wrong with me. And that was a really dark period that stretched for 6 months.
Wow.
And during that period, it's writing. Now that I look back, it's writing that get me out of it slowly, to assign meaning to things, and that slowly to gain clarity and ownership that I can let go of everything. The struggle happened up until end of 2016, and then I sold the company off, and I hit rock bottom in life because I went back home to my hometown without plan B. I had no job, no career, no future, and it was in that point I found the joy of living, when I could just spend time with family, when I could just like run every day, meditate, do house chores. Yeah, so that was the sharp U-turn in life that give me so much lesson, made me see so many things about life, that the joy of living is so much more than career and money. Yeah.
So would you say that was the starting point in which you begin writing the book, or you have actually kind of like started writing the book even before your Great Depression?
I think it's after.
Just right after.
It's after I see something that I didn't know before in life, because like growing up is always about like getting good results, and then like going after the corporate ladders, the white collar life, get a house, that kind of story. And then when I experienced this, like the story that I told myself totally changed. I could have everything, I could have a company of my own, and yet I could feel so meaningless.
What is your motivation of writing this book? By that I mean is, what do you hope that this book will bring to your readers? And also as a writer, how do you see this book has changed you by going through that writing process?
Alright, let's go to the first part first. I think my creative inspiration, the ingredient, always comes from pain and struggle. It's being able to face that, and then being able to hold it, go through it, and then to assign meaning to it, to see the positive side of things. Like, what do I learn after this? And when I write, I'm very conscious about every article. It has to have a positive message at the end, no matter how bad the process was or like the experience was. What I want people to get off is feel hope.
To feel hope,
and then to know that you have the courage inside of you to inspire people to own their story in a way, to accept all the good and bad that happens in your life, embrace them as part of you, and know that it's all this pain and struggle that makes you strong.
So that gives rise to the title Own Your Story.
Yeah, the art of owning your story.
Okay, perfect. How you change as a writer by going through this writing journey of this book, specifically this book?
I think how it changed me is to really own my story, feel proud to be myself, and to have the courage to get out there and talk about my story, because
Okay.
I've been blogging for years, but I rarely share anything on my Facebook with my network.
Okay.
But I feel so comfortable writing on Medium because nobody knows me. But when I have to get this book out, I was like, okay, now I have to talk about it because I have to market it, or else nobody knows about it. And the point is also like to share my story, right? So like slowly, like at first I post my article on Facebook, and
Yes.
then slowly being able to talk about it. And during my book launch,
Yes.
there was this moment of realization and clarity when I look at the
Which is-
audience.
yeah.
I was like, wow, all the things that I went through, all the struggle, it makes sense now because I can use my story to help people. I can use my story to give people courage, to give them an example that no matter what journey you're on,
Yeah.
you are not alone. So basically, these journeys give me the courage to open up, to talk about myself, and it leads to a lot more initiative that I do this year.
Yes.
Yeah, it all starts with a book.
I understand that for this first book, you actually choose to do self-publish.
Yeah.
So can you share with us about your experience of self-publishing? What kind of
Alright.
lessons you have learned?
Yeah.
And perhaps, for aspiring writers who want to do self-publishing path as well, what they can learn from your experience?
Alright, first of all, I get this idea of self-publishing from influencers such as Tucker Max,
Okay.
James Altucher, and Ryan Holiday. They are all
Okay.
bestsellers in
Bestsellers,
US,
okay.
and they share their content so generously. So I always knew that it's possible. In a way, I have a self-limiting thought that
Yes.
I'm not good enough to go to the bookshops, the real publisher. They wouldn't want what I have.
Okay.
Okay, that's one thing. And the second part of it is I met the right people.
All right.
Richard, who also wants to self-publish a book.
Okay.
I always knew that I could do it, but I never take action
Okay.
because it seems like such a long process with a lot of effort involved, a lot of stakeholders involved.
Yes.
And when Richard and I come together, suddenly like we have an accountability partner who can share the resources and share the fear as well.
What are the most important challenges that you have overcome before arriving to actually getting the book printed out
Yeah.
physically?
For sure, it's self-doubt.
Okay.
Yeah, and nothing out there is stopping me.
Okay.
And because it's self-published, a lot of things are under our control. It's about like getting the venue, getting the book, getting the printer, the designer. Everything outside is manageable, but the inner fear, inner doubt is the hardest one to quiet. And
Okay.
I had a breakdown moment with my boyfriend
All right.
where I cried for hours with
No,
him,
what?
and then I was like blaming him for a lot of emotion that I was feeling.
Okay.
Like all this fear that I sweep under the rug, like when it exploded, it was so bad.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just an outburst of emotion when my boyfriend said something I can't remember and
Yeah.
it triggered it, and then I was like, psh.
Wow. So this is just like moments before getting the book out for printing, is it?
Yeah, few weeks before.
Few weeks, okay. Perhaps it's, I don't know, maybe it was a pressure, you
It
feel
is the
whether is the book ready or not,
the
like, for
fear,
the public, the
fear,
fear.
like
Okay.
inner doubt,
Okay.
so many voices. A lot of people who are more successful, they don't even have their book yet. I always have these thoughts like, who am I to tell about my millennial story when it's just like 5 years of working experience? But it's important to let people know like my journey of searching, finding
Yes.
my place in this world, and
Yes.
it's okay to spend time finding the place. There will be trial and error. There will be times when we make mistakes and then we struggle. We feel pain. It's painful to fall,
Yes.
but all of us have the inner strength to pick ourselves up.
Okay. We have more strength in us than we thought. We
Yeah.
have to pick ourselves up again.
Yeah.
And that was the message that you got going through the publishing
Yeah,
journey.
correct.
Tell us about, after launching your book,
Yeah.
I heard you have co-founded a community platform by the
Yes.
name of Own Your Story, so the same title as your book. Could you tell us about this platform, this community? What was your initial vision, mission and goals for this community?
I have to give credit to my co-founder, yeah, Frankie, because we met in the co-working space work. It was sometime in July, and then we started talking. We both feel that something is missing in this society. We are both like misfit. We are both searching for the place where we can be ourselves and maximize our potential, like what we are good at. And we find that a lot of people, maybe they are good at this, but they are working in this job and then they couldn't really be their best self. They are not living a fulfilling life, not really happy, but because of security, because of fear, a lot of people don't take the action to, really explore what is my potential if I really go all out and do the thing that I really want to do. It always feels so confusing. This is such a big problem. A lot of things in our society is not right. Like the story, the generation, so many things. It just got paralyzed, and then we just decided, okay, let's stop talking. Let's just start to do something, one thing, and then we start with doing an event, which is a storytelling workshop, because that's what I'm good at, storytelling, and then that's what we are capable of doing as well. So that's how we start. So I would say at first, right, we both have our problem, like of figuring out ourselves. We don't really set a mission, a goal for that. It's just like, let's try and see where it goes. Yeah.
So with that, you started your first session for Own Your Story. So from there until now, we're coming to the end of 2018. How has the community evolved? What are the activities has taken place, and how do you see it for 2019 coming forward?
Wow. Okay, let's first talk about how it evolved. It really surprised me. Like, it's my proudest creation this year, actually.
Really?
Besides my book, we started without any expectation. We don't know what. We really like, okay, let's just do one thing and see where it goes. And after that, like, when we do something that's so aligned with what we believe in, we come up with so many ideas, like book sharing, idea jam, creator jam, and I think the big element that we accidentally got right is about crowdsourcing. Crowdsourcing contents from the community. Because when we do the first book sharing, my idea is like, the book sharing I've attended, like, there's only one book and it's one genre, and then it's very, sometimes I feel isolated, and then we don't really participate in the conversation. So I was like, okay, let's do 5 books, like 5 people who are interested in 5 different genres can share 5 books, and anyone can just come and listen and share their view. It's not like we are really like talking about a book. It's more like an idea, and then we have dialogue, conversation. And so book sharing works, and it's so fun. It's really fun, like, to talk to people and get different views, have some debate as well. And then we do idea jam, different ideas, teach and learn. People come and teach something in 15 minutes, and then creator jam, which I'm really thankful that we did that. Because of the creator jam, I can see that a lot of creation that we talk about or start as idea has already become
fruition, like transform into reality.
It's like the phone club that you talk, like, at that time it's just an idea. Now
I did pitch about my hope to create a film club.
So we have already done one screening session, and we are doing another one year end,
coming up in 30th of December.
So I see that, wow, it's amazing. Right now I would define Own Your Story as a space, a safe space for people to be authentic, for people to share knowledge, connect with each other, and then leverage on each other resources to bring our ideas and turn our gifts into creations. And in the process, right, like, we build communities and we spread more compassion, more kindness, and more creations in the end to this world.
So it has really transformed from very beginning, the experimental project, to today. It looks like going to be a more sustaining community platform, trying to make a difference in people's life on a grassroots level.
What I learned is that vision come from action. It's not
Okay.
the other way around. So moving forward to year 2019, I love your idea of like space, time, community activation. So we are going to more and more places to bring our model, bring our
Yes.
activities to build more communities, conscious
Yes.
communities around.
Yes.
Yeah, in the process, enable more creations because we see ourselves as a community launchpad
Yes.
where we empower and enable people to turn ideas, turn
Into
their
reality.
gift into reality. Yeah, we are just like giving them a place to start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A starting point.
Yeah,
Like the
starting
film club,
point.
it was starting
Yeah.
with the idea,
Yeah.
and then with the support of the community in on your
Yeah,
story.
and it's safe to fail. Like
Yes.
if it fail, it fail. Like we
Yeah.
learn together.
Yeah.
Yeah, the beauty is that when we meet people who are similar, who believe in
Like-minded,
growth,
yeah.
who believe in growth, believe in contribution, believe in connection, love.
Yes.
When you make mistake, like people are still there for you. Like
Yeah.
people don't critique you,
Yeah.
people don't judge you, and we get a lot of
Support, I would say a
support
very good support.
and
yeah.
constructive feedback as
Yes.
well. And it's
Yeah.
good for us to improve
Yeah.
and then to know what people want as well.
I think people won't judge so hard because they
Yeah.
can see the intention, the good intention is really about creating value to community.
Yeah.
Of course, the form can always improve, the delivery method can always
Yeah.
improve, but I think people will always appreciate the intention, the starting
Yeah.
point,
I
where we are coming from.
Yeah.
I think it touches people's life from there. So
Yeah.
to conclude, as a writer,
Yeah.
going forward in 2019, are there plans to write something new?
Ooh.
If there are, what is the new book about?
Right. There is because this year, the art of owning your story, I printed 200 copies and mainly sell it to friends and family and network who believe in me, and thank you guys so much for supporting me.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, and then coming to the end of the year, I've almost sold out the 200 copies.
That's great.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
and I'm doing give a book campaign now and collaborate with a coffee roaster from my hometown to do it. I feel really thankful for that. And after this, in 2019, I do
Yes.
have a new plan for the book. Yeah,
Which is
my vision is I want it to go to the mass market, to the major bookstores, so
Okay.
that I can reach as many people as I can, because
Okay.
I gain so much confidence in the definition, in the importance of owning your story. And after interviewing more than 20 people this year, I would love to incorporate their stories
Okay.
into the art of owning your
The story,
story. So
okay.
it's not so much about me. It's like a cookbook
Okay.
with all the ingredients that I
Okay.
gained from all these people,
Okay.
and with the end product of owning your story.
okay. Putting all
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
So trying to answer the question, perhaps, what is a life well lived? What are you trying to answer in this new book?
Wow.
Yeah.
I always ask people that what
Yeah.
is a life well lived?
Yeah.
I would say a life well lived is really experience life in all its season, because life is not just about feeling good and enjoying the good thing and eating good food. It's about embracing all the good and the bad. To really try to do something, to be creative, to create something of our own,
Yeah.
it takes a lot of risk.
Okay.
Because when there's no risk, there's nothing new.
Yes.
Yeah, it's to really embrace that when we fail, the good, the bad, and to acknowledge that all of them make us who we are today, make me
That's
who
so true.
I am
So
today,
true. So true.
and love myself.
Embrace yourself.
Yeah, I love myself for who I am.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's the message
Okay.
that I want
Okay.
to spread.
On the second book.
Yeah, in the second book, it's still, the core is still the same. It's more
Alright.
like a rewrite of the book, The Art
Okay.
of Owning Your Story.
Okay.
Because this year I really learned a lot from starting so many new projects and
Okay.
talking to so many people. It's more on upgrading the book, to a more complete cookbook.
Book,
Yeah,
okay.
to cook this own your story dish.
Taking
Yeah.
the evolution of you as a writer, so taking evolution of you as a person,
Yeah.
as a millennial,
Yeah.
trying to figure out life
Yeah.
and work and family and relationship, and above all, what is a life well lived. So this is all about what Isabel's book is going to be about,
Yes.
and also the committee that she created on
Yeah.
your stories. it's also an attempt to co-create with the communities on grassroots level to attempt to answer the question, what is a life without faith? With that, we conclude our video podcast today. Thank you everyone for spending these few moments with us, and we wish you a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Alright,
Okay,
bye.
peace out.
See you guys.